To avoid being disturbed backstage on Pointless, I have a fake name on my dressing room door.
Who do you get disturbed by?
Oh,
People with windmills with his face on. We call them freaks, Steph.
Just contestants, essentially. You don't want contestants to be knocking on the door and
Why
coming
not?
in. Because sometimes you've got question papers, and so, you know, I don't want them seeing what the questions are for their show.
All right.
So what name do you put on the door to stop people knocking? Is it Rob Brydon?
I use the name the Reverend Wendy Benson.
The Reverend Wendy Benson? Is there a Reverend Wendy Benson?
Well,
There must be.
But the key thing is, I am not the Reverend Wendy Benson.
What does Zander have on his...
He is Sir Peter Morehouse.
Peter Morehouse?
Yeah.
He invented the hovercraft, didn't he?
No, that was Christopher Cockerell.
Oh, you're quite right.
Yeah. Which is the name Lee has in his door. Well, it's something cock something. I can't remember exactly.
You'll have to change the names now, won't you? Because you've admitted them in public. And
I suppose so.
Future contestants...
Well, it depends if it's true or not, I suppose.
So, is it the truth?
I think it could be, yeah. I can imagine.
You think that he's changes his name to Reverend Wendy Benson and Alexander Armstrong changes his name to...
Sir Peter Morehouse.
Thank
Sir
you.
Peter...
That's exactly right.
Again, extra syllables, I think, the way he said it. I don't know, what do you think, Richard?
I think,
Do
well,
you think it's true or a lie?
I'll say this.
Yeah.
If it's not true, I'm going to start doing it.
What's your instinct telling you? You've been on the show a while.
My instinct tells me it's a lie because I don't believe he's higher status enough to have a dressing room.
There you go.
We'll go lie.
It's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie. So, Richard, truth or lie?
It is... true. When I worked in a shoe shop, my boss was called Mr. Clog. Remarkably, I've had 3 other jobs where my boss's name was directly related to their profession.
What?
The obvious question to ask is, what were those jobs and what were these people's names?
Yeah, it is an obvious question. Is it maybe too obvious a question? Maybe go somewhere else first, just...
I want to know about the first. Just tell us one of the jobs.
At school, I worked in a warehouse and the boss was called Mr. Foreman.
Mr. Foreman? OK. And what was your job? Getting stuff down from the top shelf, obviously.
How would you rate Foreman as a boss? If he was suspicious, would he grill you?
Foreman? Yeah, listen. Very good.
Okay.
Why did you have so many jobs? Did you keep getting sacked?
No further questions.
What were the other 2 jobs?
Yeah, what was the other jobs?
I worked in... Do you remember the predecessor to Iceland, which was B-Jam?
Yeah.
My supervisor was called John Frost.
Frost, B-Jam. You can see why B-Jam didn't last, because people will go, why don't they just call it honey? Your final job was?
Well, it was my first ever job in television.
And that was?
It was a researcher on a computer games programme.
OK, and your boss is called?
My boss is called Tony Verrill.
What does Verrill mean? In relation to
what do you mean? It's a surname, but his initials were TV.
Of all these bosses that you remember, Richard, who would you say was your favourite boss? What was it about that boss that made them
Well,
so
John
adorable?
Frost wasn't really my boss, so I liked him. We had a bit more of a relationship. Mr. Foreman, I found that was quite stressful. It was one of my first ever jobs. And Tony Verrill still works in the industry, so I will not be passing comment.
Tony Verrill still works
in the industry.
I've never come across him.
Yeah, I've not come across
What
Tony
have you come
Verrill.
across him, David?
Yeah, I think I've worked with Tony. Pretty sure. Not 100%, but... Yeah!
Do you know who Tony Verrill is?
No.
Tony Verrill?
No, never heard of him.
Who, it's weird that none of us three have heard of Tony Verrill, and yet all you three have heard of Tony Verrill.
Catherine
hasn't.
Catherine has or hasn't?
I haven't, but it rings a bell.
Oh, so you...
What do you think, truth or lie?
Truth or a lie?
Well, the thing is, I think you're almost certainly sort of geeky enough to keep a record of that sort of thing, and it's the type of thing that would amuse you. And you'd remember at the time. On the other hand, it's also the type of thing that you could quickly construct to be clever. It's a challenging one.
What do you think?
Lie?
Yes, I think so.
We'll have to say lie.
You'll say lie. OK.
Because of Tony Verrill.
Richard, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Richard's never worked in a shoe shop with Mr. Clog.
Last year, at a party, I shared a jacuzzi with 3 of the eggheads.
Jerry Mitchell's team.
Which 3 eggheads?
It was Barry. I know, right? Kevin. And Chris.
Do the eggheads, are they only allowed in a jacuzzi for 3 minutes?
What was the party?
Well, it was all of the sort of quiz shows together. We're doing a big photo shoot, and it was us, and by us I mean Pointless. It was Eggheads, The Chase, and like 15 to 1.
How'd you get all them in?
Just out of interest, who initiated the jacuzziing?
There have been some photographs in it earlier in the evening, and then later in the evening, people were jumping in of their own accord.
Right. Okay.
What was the photo shoot for?
Radio Times, TV Times, one of those.
So with the concept for the photo was 3 eggheads and you in a jacuzzi. what were the 15 to 1ers and the chasers doing?
We were doing all sorts of photographs, drinking champagne, jacuzzi. It was supposed to be, you know, decadence and all this kind of stuff.
The concept was decadence in the quizzing community.
I think it was champagne, chocolates, just being decadent. I think. But yes.
Chocolates in a jacuzzi.
Not in a jacuzzi.
Sort of a box of black magic bobbing. I think photographing a lot of people from different quiz shows in a ridiculously kind of opulent setting is the sort of idea that a listings that magazine might have. For example, for the last series of this, they had us sitting round a table pretending to play poker and pulling loads of faces.
Yes.
It's the kind of stunt that they do, rather than just having a normal photograph and then a note of when the programme is on, which is all you need.
I rather enjoyed the poker photo. It's a lovely opportunity to spend time with you and Lee out of this environment, but never mind if you weren't.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Rob, I also had a terrible time.
All right, it's time to make your mind up. What way are you leaning, Alan?
I don't think it's true. I can see the photo shoot, but I just can't see him in a jacuzzi.
Continuing to party at the end of a photo shoot was certainly not something we considered, was it, Lee, at the end of the aforementioned
Literally,
poker.
as he put the cap on the end of the camera like that, we were in the taxi, weren't we?
Yeah.
And I remember as we drove off, winding the window down and hearing, "It's my round, lads."
Yeah.
It's my round! Take your head down, he's looking!
Rob sent me the end of his anecdote in 5 long texts.
So, Jermaine, what do you think?
I'm going to say...
Is this a musical?
You say the lie.
You think it's a lie?
A lie.
So you both think it's a lie? Yeah. We'll say lie.
You're going to say it's a lie. OK, so Richard, jacuzzis, photo shoot, truth or lie?
It is lie.
Hey!
Yes, it's a lie. Richard didn't share a jacuzzi with 3 of the eggheads.
I once buried a badger with the banker from Deal or No Deal.
Lee's team.
I know the programme, but who is that? Who is the banker? We never hear the banker, do we?
No, I'm not allowed to tell. If I told you, I would have to bury you alongside the badger, I'm afraid.
Oh, so the badger found out. Is that what happened to him?
What's burying the badger a euphemism for? This banker, can you describe him to me, please?
Yes, I could do. He's just a guy, like you and I. Somewhere in between.
Well,
you
which
and
one
I.
is it?
Somewhere in the middle.
Why do you know the guy from...
I know that way back when I used to be the producer of Deal or No Deal.
Right, and what's his name?
He is called The Banker.
No, what's his real name?
I can't tell you what his real name is.
It's on the credits of the show. Tell us.
What does it say on the credits of the show?
It says The Banker as himself.
Why was the badger dead?
Yeah.
We hit it with a car, unfortunately.
What were you doing in the car with him?
About 70. We were on holiday together.
Where were you on holiday?
Badger country, Cornwall.
Was Edmonds there? Sorry, I'm not part of this, am I? Sorry.
It's a good question, though, Greg. Was Noel there?
No, it was a holiday.
Before you buried the badger, did we put him in a box and then there was loads of other empty boxes? And then you stood there and you had to choose which box it was. Dead squirrel, wrong box.
I think it's very sad that the badger died and everything.
Yes.
Why was so much trouble to dig the grave?
Because the banker's wife was with us.
Oh, can you tell us her name, or does she work for? Does she work for the Iranian government?
What is the name of the banker? Was this during the day or of the evening?
It was late at night.
Had you had a few?
I had a few, yeah.
So you went and got
Were you driving then?
No, I wasn't driving.
Who was driving?
If he's not going to say the name of the banker,
He's not gonna
of Deal or Deal, he's not going on national television go, I was driving, I was mullered.
I say badger, I mean none.
And then what?
The banker's wife then says we should bury it.
The banker's wife. It sounded like Cluedo, this. Go on.
To which the obvious answer is we're not going to bury it. It's 2 in the morning.
Right.
It's really cold and it's dark.
What's happened then?
So the badger is dead.
Right. Yeah.
Sad occasion. I'm not underestimating the sadness of it. And there's probably a badger wife and badger children at home, so that's...
Are you not allowed to say their names either?
So you checked the gender of the badger, then? You know it was a male badger? Or a female badger in a same-sex relationship who've adopted a small badger, perhaps an orphaned badger without a home in need of rest?
Wildly overestimating the sophistication of the badger community.
Well, what happens next?
We went back, got spades.
Yeah.
Went back to where the badger lay prone, buried it, said a few words.
What did you say?
Just said, Lord, protect this badger. Or worse to that effect.
If only you'd have said it an hour earlier. So go on, Lord, protect this badger.
I think I said a few words about the family of the badger and gave some words
Tell
of
us
apology.
the word. I want the words.
I apologise to the family of this badger, wherever they may be, because I'm guessing they're nearby.
Yeah.
Put some stones on it, went back home, started drinking again.
So, Lee, what's it going to be? Truth or lie?
Oh, I think it's true, Lee.
Bob thinks it's true.
You think it's true? Yeah.
Patsy?
I don't believe the badger bit. I think the badger bit...
That's quite essential to the story. But everything else you believe.
I believe he knows the banker.
Right.
I think he knows the banker's wife.
Well, there's your answer. There's your answer. We think it's true apart from the badger bit.
OK. Lee, it's time to make your mind
it's
up.
true. It's true.
You're saying it's true. Richard, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was telling the truth.
Yes, it's true. Richard did bury a badger with the banker from Deal or No Deal.